So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the beginning of a massive journey that we're going to walk together, a trading psychology mastery course. This is lesson 1, and I'm going to talk to you about the wealth formula. Just to remind you, this course is going to run for a duration of 7 weeks, every Tuesday at the same time slot, 8 p.m. Eastern. And this has been a work in progress for a very long time for me. This was my baby project for, I'm going to say, months to over a year now. And I've really put together everything. I was very meticulous. I was very careful on what I created and what I crafted. And I believe what I have here is not just a course. It's not just a lesson. I got a transformational system, not just for trading, for your life. So I'm really looking forward to this together. And I'm going to tell you why I applied psychology to trading, right? If you ask any professional trader, they'll tell you this: 80% of trading is all about your psychology. All right, trading companies spend millions of dollars in psychological training and working on the mind state. All right, some companies even have psychotherapy available on site, and in their prop trading companies or proprietary trading companies, hedge funds, etc. Like the show Billions, but it's for real. Billions is actually very closely based on how the hedge fund industry operates. All right, and here's a question I have to ask for you: if professional traders are investing a large amount of money on their trading mindset, how much have you invested? And what do you think would be the effect of going against them without having that artillery? So when we talk about psychology, I'm expanding the term to mean mindset. And I'll tell you what this is, who I am, how I come to be in this place in my life. I'll give you guys a lot of details tonight. But psychology, I'm expanding to mean mindset, because the problem with traditional psychology is that psychologists look for what's wrong with people. I believe nothing's wrong with people. Being alive, being able to breathe air is a miracle in and of itself. There's nothing wrong with you or I or humanity or society. It's just getting in the right mindset to foster and cultivate positivity. So it's more trading mindset mastery, but there's a very strong psychology concept there. So I wanted to lay that out at the very beginning. Lesson 1 tonight, we're going to talk about the wealth formula. And I want to tell you guys a quick little story before we get started. This is a personal story of mine. It's true. It really happened. And it's responsible for changing my life. I'm going to be honest with you guys, just thinking about the effect it's had on me while I was doing this slide put me kind of to tears. So I'm going to go through with it. Doesn't sound like an emotional story, but I'm going to close it out at the end and you'll understand why it was so powerful to me. So I come from a background of trading. I've pretty much been involved in trading all my life. I'll tell you my personal history, but I was at a boardroom towards the tail end of my trading career in the corporate world. And I remember having a really interesting conversation with one director. One of the big banks here in Canada, one of the top 6 banks. Actually, it's one of the top 3 now. Very big bank in Canada. And I remember having this conversation with the director, and I asked him, I was kind of fresh, young at the time, ambitious. I wanted to climb up the corporate ladder. And he was a man that I know was looking at me from the top post. He was a director who is now actually a VP at the bank, very high up. And he sat down with me, and I knew just looking at his eyes. You know how sometimes you could look somebody in their eyes and you see wisdom and a lot of experience? And he was looking at me with kind of a cool, calm demeanor. And I had asked him a simple question. I said, I have this decision I got to make. It's very important in my life. And I need to decide whether or not I need to walk up this ladder and go in the corporate way in this world, or I need to leave and work for myself and give the self-sufficient thing a shot while I'm young, while I can. And he answered my question very succinctly, very briefly, with one sentence. And honestly, those words have changed my life. All right, and I'll give you guys what he told me, the exact sentence, and I guarantee you it'll shift your perspective in an instant. Very wise man. All right, but first I want to tell you this. What are you going to learn in this course? What you're going to learn in this course is how to live at cause, and we're going to spend the very first lesson working on this. Because if you don't have step number 1, you can't achieve anything. I'm going to go so far as to say you won't be able to achieve success without coming to terms with this number 1 thing. And that's why I wanted to provide this to the webinar or the lesson that's free for everybody. Because I believe every single one of you could apply this in your life and make drastic changes. Not just with trading, with relationships. Maybe it's with your spouse or significant other, right? Maybe it's with the boss. Maybe it's with somebody who reports to you or that you report to, all right? Maybe it's with an emotion that you have. But once you accomplish this first step, you're going to come to a powerful grasp of reality. I guarantee you're going to make a mindset mindset shift here tonight on this webinar. That's how powerful this stuff is. All right, in this course, it's throughout the next 7 lessons, I'm going to help you shift your mindset to a winning state. What the 1% has in this world, the 1% that we call based on wealth, that own 90% of the wealth, they don't have the ability to make money. They have the ability to get into and stay into a winning state. All right, and that's why they continue to win, and the money that they accumulate is a direct result of the mindset that they carry. All right. And if you have a relationship with money where you say people who have money do bad things or they did bad things to get money, that's pretty much the exact opposite of where we need to be. And we're going to take you through that relationship with yourself and wealth and how to become that winning mind state that you may despise or you may not understand. But I'm going to make you understand how being like one of the percent is actually the only way to be and how you could become that 1%. All right. I'm going to teach you how to track anything that you want with tangible exercises. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube. I've told you, I've researched this for over a year. There's a lot of stuff that promise you things and give you these great fancy ideas, but they don't give you a step 1, 2, 3, 4, do this and get the result. I've put that together for you. I've quantified this process, both for trading and for personal development. All right, I'm going to help you uncover your hidden values and how to adjust your mindset for success, how to stay down the path of success. Many times we get a taste of it and then it scares us and we lose grasp with it. And I'm going to share my secret with you as well. All right, I'm going to help you identify the self-sabotage cycle in trading. It is not actually the system that you don't have. Trading doesn't come down to a system, indicator, person, secret, or an edge. You do not have to have an edge to be successful in trading. Today I won 30% of the trades I took and I ended up making money. All right, it's not about that. It's about being able to move out of your own way. And through the lizard brain that we've developed over thousands of years, certain emotions and mindsets that you get into will evoke self-sabotage. I'm going to teach you how to deal with them, how to step away from them, but first it starts with identifying them. All right, there's a whole lesson on that. I'm going to teach you some exercises to deal with the in-the-moment emotions. All right, how to really be aware of yourself and your surroundings. One exercise that the Hawaiians have been practicing for a very long time. David, you may not even know. I don't know how in tune you are with it, but absolutely critical to success. Once I started using this one trick, I don't want to say I wasn't able to lose trades. I was losing trades, but I wasn't losing money because I was staying in the right mindset. All right, and that's important. And I'm going to teach you some long-term mindset mastery techniques. This kind of stuff, I did a survey, and a lot of you said you wanted concrete trading advice, but you also said you wanted some stuff that's a little bit more out there. So I'm going to tell you, some of these things are a little Tony Robbins-like. I'll tell you the difference. Tony Robbins uses these exact same techniques to introduce people to mindset work. But he gets them excited, fired up, and they leave, and they go home. They go back to their office and their regular lives, and they lose that steam that was driving the engine. I'm going to show you the actual techniques that he knows but doesn't teach because they don't sell well, that you could keep yourself in that mind state. All right? It's kind of like light bulbs. Did you guys know that light bulbs don't have to go out? The only reason they're made to go out is so they could sell you more. I'm going to teach you how to become a whole new person. First, let me tell you how I got into trading myself. So my dad got me started. Is he in the webinar? Let me see if my dad's here. He's here. He's a good supporter. My dad got me started in trading when I was very young. He traded foreign exchanges himself. It's called Forex. I started trading when I was really young. And my first little go of it, I did decent at first. Then I lost some money. I made some money. Long story short, I was just like you. I was looking for the right strategy, the right mentor, the right guru. I wanted to make it big, and I was doing it for the money. I have no way to hide that. I'm not even shy to admit that I was doing it for the money. All right? And then I'll be honest with you, I had some success. I lost some money, and then that drove me to get into the industry. I said, look, why don't I go to school for this and learn how to do it the proper way? I went into financial planning. I figured it'd help people create financial plans and they would be all better off and I would change the world. And then I moved into the workplace working for a trading firm and I realized plans are all good and great, but there's a saying, make a plan so you know what's not going to happen. It's not the plan that makes people successful. There's something more. There's something more emotional, something more human, something more raw. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten into a conflict, that raw energy that you feel that you can't describe. There's something like that involved in the trading process. So In 2009, I was working on the trading desk at one of the big six banks. I was a trader and I did customer support as well. And I remember taking phone calls, and those phone calls I will never forget. There's a phone call that sometimes shows up in my dreams. I kid you not, it's enough to give you chills. I'm not going to give you a word for word rundown, but there were people who lost a lot of money. All right, there were clients who were saying literally, I'm going to hang up the phone and I'm going to walk away and take my own life. All right, it was a very dark moment. We had to get police involved. We had a whole bunch of compliance issues. I was sitting there on the trading desk. I just started at this big company into one of the biggest financial collapses that I've witnessed. Here's the truth. I was trading at the time. My first day of my career, I bought a put option, and my compliance officer closed that trade for me. It's a true story. The next day, I had a meeting with him. He said, you can't buy put options on the company that you work for. That put option would have made a ton of money on its own. But in 2009, as clients lost money, I was making the most money ever at that point in my life. And I said, why? How is that possible? So what I ended up doing through that 2009 collapse is I said, I want to spend my life helping people manage their way through these things. I started Trade Pro Academy in 2012. I showed up to write the Chartered Financial Analyst exam, CFA level 1. I hated it. One thing I realized through the process of becoming a CFA or trying to become a CFA, because I didn't pass. There's no way I was going to pass that. I hated what I was doing. One thing I realized that was valuable is I didn't want to be a CFA. So what was out there? How could I help people? And through my own trading, I then realized for those that want to take action, for those that want to be self-sufficient and self-dependent, trading is a reality. It's not fictitious. There's no unicorns. Money can be made. You just have to be the right personality. But now I'm able to quantify that. Now with these tools that I got, I'm able to actually know exactly the mindset that's needed to be successful. And it's crazy. I had a kind of like an epiphany moment where I saw everything spin in my head, kind of like the Matrix where the numbers are falling. I've traded and traveled the world. In 2018, I finally got certified as a master neuro-linguistic practitioner. It's a very coveted designation. It took me about $20,000 of my own investment and months of trips to California, hotels, flights, and distractions, but I got it. Master neuro-linguistic practitioner. Same thing Tony Robbins has, but without the master level. So I'm technically certified higher level than that. I'm not better than Tony Robbins. All right, but I am certified at a higher level. Certified life and success coach, master clinical hypnotherapist, and time techniques practitioner. So I'm now able to use these skill sets to quantify what it is that makes a person successful and how the mindset works. This is me and my fiance. We traveled the world, like I mentioned. This is in Bali, the first time I surfed. Absolutely loved it. I grew up without access to massive amounts of money. It's not like I had money handed down to me. I was never poor. I'll tell you that much. I was never poor. Poor is a mindset. We'll talk about that. I knew I was going to be wealthy. I just didn't know how and when. But I knew for a fact I was never going to be poor. All right, so I went to Bali, did a little bit of surfing, loved it. Then I went to Nicaragua that same year, did a little bit more surfing. Then I also caught my first 9-foot wave in Nicaragua. Then I almost died. I've done some surfing since, but I can tell you what it's like to drink 2 liters of water. It ain't fun. Then I went back to, this is from my trip to Bali, actually. This is a really nice 2-story loft that we rented. This thing was close to $1,000 a day, and it was just really peaceful. We had a whole cleaning crew. They prepared dinner for us. It was really fun. Traveled within Canada as well. This is Lake Louise. All right. Been to a few other places. I don't even know where this is. I want to say this is the Bahamas. This is the Bahamas. The Bahamas with my tablet. I've been hypnotized. This is me in my class the last couple weeks ago as I was getting certified. I've hypnotized other people. This guy's name's David. I put him in full catalepsy. He wasn't able to move himself. He was at my command through hypnotic techniques. Hypnosis is not the crazy stuff that you think. It's actually a very useful tool, and you have to allow yourself to be hypnotized. If you don't want to, you won't be. But hypnosis allows you to really work with the subconscious mind, and there's some crazy stuff that you could do. All right, here's me getting certified. This is my instructor, Ryan. Man, this guy's an awesome man, very positive guy. He's taught me a lot. Certified in the 5 things at the master level. This is me trading in Bulgaria with 2.2 liters of alcohol. And I'll tell you one thing, trading and alcohol doesn't mix. I didn't drink while trading. The market was closed here. Also, 2.2 liters of alcohol is really cheap in Bulgaria. I even check my trades in my car, and it's kind of fun and cool. to be able to say that. Not while I'm driving. You can see I'm parked there. So I've got to do everything that I've always wanted. All right. And I get to do it now whenever I want. I get to kind of design a life that I live. I'm going to tell you guys this. I'm not special. If you look at Bill Gates, if you look at Steve Jobs, if you look at me, if you look at you, if you look at Susan, who's participating tonight, if you look at anyone around you, we're all the same. In fact, if you look at us on a molecular level, we're the same quality of material. And we're all interconnected. So what separates us? Well, what separates us is the ability to dream, to have imagination, and to take action. One of the craziest things that school does for you is take away your ability to imagine. Imagination is creation. Remember that. If you can't imagine a better life, you won't get a better life. All right? I dared to have a dream. I dared to tell my teacher that one day I'm going to be wealthy. I just don't know how. As she laughed at me and said, why don't you try to fit the mold? There's going to be opportunities for you to work for somebody. And wait till you hear the advice that this guy told me in that boardroom that changed my life. It's exactly kind of in line with this, but very powerful. All right, now it's your turn. So here's a question I want to ask you guys. When something goes wrong, what's your initial reaction? I want one of you guys to give me 1 to 2 words. When something happens that goes wrong according to plan, what's your initial reaction, guys? Learning experience? Okay, that's amazing. That's a really positive way to look at it. Fear? That's a very common way. Thank you for being truthful. Asking why? That's a very powerful question. Why? Flip the why. I'll give you a challenge. I don't want to use names to everybody, but Susan, I like you. We know each other, so I figured I could use instead of why, ask the question what. It changes everything. Why implies a little bit of emotionality to it. I failed. Okay, that's part of fear as well. This is a lesson. Frustration, disappointment, blame yourself. All right, thank you so much for being honest. It takes a lot to stand out and say that. What do we do to fix it? That's a positive attitude. Not again. All right, perfect. Frustration and doubt. What went wrong? Great. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being honest and open. I really appreciate it. We got a really good group here tonight. This is going to be a powerful lesson because of who's here. All right, you see this accident. Driver 1 is on the left side. Driver 2 is on the right side. Who's at fault? Who's at fault here in this accident? Could be either the left, both, back driver, don't know, not in insurance. I don't know the story either. Okay, this is actually a pretty good and deep question to ask somebody. It tells you, I just learned about you guys. This might sound creepy to you. I learned your values. I could probably take a really good shot at knowing what your upbringing was like based on the cultural basis. I know your values. I know some of your opinions and beliefs as well as a person, all from one simple question. Questions are powerful. Based on how the actual insurance book looks at it, the driver who's behind is technically at fault because he could have stopped, right? The driver behind you is the one that should have kept a safe distance. A few of you guys said the real answer, it's both, all right? They're both at fault. And I know that some of you might find it hard to believe that you're driving down the street, you're at a red light, and somebody goes, boom, plows into you from behind. And I know it's hard to think that you're at fault in this situation, right? But let's talk about fault. I'm going to give you the simple formula for success, all right? And I hope that you guys, this right here is worth the money of the price of admission, as they say. All right? So here it is. Results versus reason. So this is cause is effect, all right? When you use words like, I can't do this. I can't be successful. I don't know the secrets of money. I won't be successful. Every time I do something, I shouldn't get this result. It mustn't be true. Whenever you're using words of that nature, what that's called is you're living at effect. All right? You're living at effect of something else. Because when you push the blame, in this society, we've really tried to create fairness and honesty, but what we've created is just pointing fingers and always trying to blame somebody else. Remember this. I want you guys to do this. Take your finger and point forward and ahead of you. Imagine there's somebody in front of you. Point at them. How many do you have pointing back at you? 3. All right. So, and you're going to find out why whatever you think about somebody else is actually how you feel about yourself on a subconscious level. Why perception's projection. We'll talk about that in a moment. All right. When you take responsibility in every single situation, all right, and I kid you guys not, I've changed a lot. I used to be a little bit more of an angry, emotional human being. Somebody right now could walk across the street and punch me in the face, and I would ask myself, how was I responsible for that? I'll tell you why. When you live at cause, all right, and when you're asking yourself always, how am I responsible? I challenge you guys from now forward to never think about can't, shouldn't, mustn't, how that other person did something to you. Ask yourself, how am I responsible for the life I have? How am I responsible that this happen? If you go to work and your boss yells at you, ask yourself, how am I responsible for creating the situation? What this is doing for you, if you're in a trade where you lose, how am I responsible? Don't say, oh, the market has got me again, that stupid market, because now you're giving the market power. When you live at cause and when you're asking that one simple, powerful question, how am I at cause? You're keeping the power to yourself. Does that make sense to you guys? How am I at cause gives you the ability to make a change. You retain the power. Saying it's that person's fault excuses you and gives you absolutely no control over the situation. So I want to tell you guys this. If you're not living at cause for your life, you're living in effect of somebody else's decisions. Understood? How many of you guys think, be honest with me, how many of you guys think you're living at cause right now? Overall, not just in trading, in the grander scope of your life. Be honest, just think about all in all. All right? And you don't have to answer. I don't expect anyone to say I'm an effect. But I want you guys to just think about it. Answer that question indirectly. So here's 3 requisites for change. Number 1, here's what we do with neuro-linguistic programming. I'll explain to it in a moment. We get rid of negative emotions, limiting decisions, parts inside of you that feel different ways. We then align your values and we insert future goals and future test them. That process is remarkably accurate, precise, and powerful to change your life. But then step 2, you have to take action. You have to leave and apply this stuff. And when your friends say, you think you could make money trading, what makes you think you're so smart that somebody with a degree is going to give up their money to you? How are you going to do it? You can't do this, blah, blah, blah. You have to enforce your boundaries with that person. That's somebody trying to take your power from you. All right? So you have to take action and you got to focus on what you want. And if you promise to do step 2 and 3, I got you covered on step 1. The material that I'm going to deliver to you guys through this course, you would have to pay about $10,000 to go through this process with any NLP certified person. When I went and told somebody what I was going to do with the material I was learning, I was strongly advised not to. I don't listen. If I listened to people, I wouldn't be where I am. All right? This is where I can help you above the line. All you have to focus on is focusing on what you want. All right? I'm going to tell you guys this. 2 of my favorite quotes. One of them is from Michael Caine, famous director. He said, I have a policy. I never listen to anyone explain why they can't do something. All right? And when asked why, Michael, he said, it's because he didn't want to be convinced by it. All right? Think about how powerful that is. The 2 words that are the most powerful in this universe, you guys know what they are? 2 words. Be very careful when you use these 2 words. I am. This is like a direct request to somebody who's willing to do anything at your mercy, saying I am. It will deliver. Whatever you say after those 2 words is going to change your life. Be very careful. All right? And I agree with this quote. And the second one that I like is from Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. All right? Because all it's about is being. All it's about is thinking. And it's not just thinking about the future. It's not thinking about the past. Those are useless. It's being here in the now, being present, taking advantage of this moment. If you think about it, all you have is right now in this life. Can't change your past. The future may never come. You just have right now. All right? So why waste right now? So I'm going to invite you right now for the rest of the next, I don't know, in the moment, you're going to have to decide this with me. For the next 7 weeks that we're together through this journey, I'm going to invite you to give up arguing for your limitations. If you believe you can't do something, That's great. I invite you to stop arguing for your limitations. I believe you don't have any limitations. I believe you're a completely powerful human being. Nothing stands in your way of success but yourself. All right? I don't believe in limitations. I don't believe in you arguing for your weakness. I believe in you fighting with your strength. All right? So I don't want to hear that stuff. I'm like Michael Caine. Somebody says I can't. You know what I tell them? This is a very common response of mine. I say, don't tell me can't. Don't lie to me. Say you won't. Big difference. All right? And here's the thing. I want to show you guys, for those of you who's analytical here, who's got an analytical brain. This is going to blow your freaking mind. When I learned this, I just sat back and I was like, I need to leave the room. I'm going to faint. Marky, you're going to love this. I think a lot of us do in this field. I think if you're just overly kind of non-analytical and you're just a dreamer, you'll have a little bit of a hard time in trading. So all of us are a little bit analytical. Let me explain some stuff to you guys. Just pay attention to this. Very powerful. This is a man or a woman. Let's give it some long hair. It's unisex. Some beautiful long redhead hair. We have 6 senses. Actually 5. We also have a 6th. But we're not going to go into that. We have here sight, touch, smell, taste. So yeah, there's the 5 senses. This is the only way for humans to interact with the world around them. All right? Here's the interesting part. On any given second, your human brain processes 2.3 million bits per second. Don't believe me? Stop right now. How do your socks feel on your feet? Feel your sock on your big toe. Can you feel it? How about the cushion on your butt right now? How does that feel? Can you feel that? Listen to the noise coming out the window. It might be very faint, but you could hear it. You could hear that now, right? Interesting that you didn't before. 2.3 million bits per second through our 5 senses every single second. How many of that do you think that the human brain actually consciously processes? Give this a shot. I'd love to know. It's mind-blowing for me. 7, 5. Geez, you guys are undershooting this. 126. So at any given moment, out of the 2.3 million bits, 126 is all that the brain could deal with. All right? This is what we call our logical, rational brain. This is our outer layer of our brain. The subconscious mind deals with the rest of it. Let me put that in perspective for you guys. All that you and me, for example, Tasha, you, me, Mark, Azalea, Richie, Len, we could all be in the same room. All right? We could all see the same 2.3 million bits. Mark will walk away with 126. His 126 will be different than mine, different than Azalea's, different than Tasha's. We were all in the same room, but we experienced a different reality. How crazy is that? Nobody in this entire universe experiences the full extent of reality. It's not possible. Your brain doesn't work like that. And the reason being is you're selecting which bits to process. Somebody said mind blown. You're selecting which bits to process based on your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind does all the computing. Your subconscious mind stores every single bit. Did you know that? In hypnosis, 2 people talking to one another at a table will be able to recall the entire conversation. If there's 10 tables of 2 people around them in a very deep hypnosis state, which not everyone's able to achieve, and I'll explain why in a bit, in a very deep hypnosis state, that person's able to recall every single word of every conversation around them. That's 20 people at the same time. Everything you take in through your 5 senses is permanently stored. You have a perfect memory. Every one of us, photographic memory. We just choose to change it by saying, I don't have a good memory. Remember, I don't, I am, powerful words. Your subconscious mind says, fine. You don't have a good memory, I'll make that happen because that's the order I take. All right, so this is powerful. What does the brain do? It deletes, distorts, and generalizes information. Those are the 3 filters that it takes at 2.3 bits and spits them out to 126. Think about what communication is. When I'm talking to you, I'm representing 126 bits of my reality. You're taking that 126 bits and you're processing it backwards to 2.3 to experience it. So your conscious mind processes 0.006% of all information. 99.994% of info is deleted, distorted, or generalized. Why is that? I did the math. Being a logical person myself, I did the math. If you could have 2.3 million bits per second and you were to actually process them all, how many seconds would it take you? Every 1 second of your life would take you 5 hours to actually fully understand. You would live to be 16 years old and you would die a 94-year-old man. Isn't this some matrix stuff? Exactly, Susan. That's how it is. It's kind of like learning how to drive a car. At first, you're sort of very stressed out. You're consciously thinking of where the stick shifter is, where the lane changes. And then 6 months later, you've automated that process. And now you're eating and talking on the cell phone, and driving isn't even a conscious habit anymore. Well, we got to be careful because that's what we're doing when we're trading. All right? A lot of people say practice makes perfect. Practice actually makes permanent. It's easier to harder to unravel a pattern than to create a good one to begin with. But with neuro-linguistic programming, we could change patterns in a split second. All right? So how's that? Isn't that crazy information? It's nuts. I was mind blown. All right? Here's the good news. We could actually change all of these things. It doesn't take 21 days to change a habit. I could change it like that with the right technique. Here's the other implication of this. Because the mind processes so much information subconsciously, you're actually on a train track. Your entire life is on a train track. Has anyone been told when they were kids by their parents, don't talk to strangers? Or do you know somebody who was specifically like that kind of stands out in their life? They're always told maybe parents were very uneasy saying, don't talk to strangers for goodness sake. Do you notice how those people are a little less social than others? From 0 to 7 years old is your imprint period. Whatever your walking subconscious mind, you have no rationale, no logic. Whatever you're told is fact. So the way the subconscious mind goes is it's moving down this train track. And it moves down this train track until you choose to do what? Until you choose to change the track. And that brings you to a different direction, to a new direction. The subconscious mind will continue to execute and do what you've told it until you move it or shift it off a different track. I'm here to help you shift it. We're going to shift it, all right, wherever you want. You could shift it back and forth. Many people are running on the same track that was laid out for them when they were 7 years old. Why? Because they weren't taught how to change. I think it's criminal not to teach this stuff to people in school. Criminal, outright criminal. If I ever do philanthropy, which I'm gearing up to do at some point, I would be offering this info for free for everyone. I shouldn't have had to pay $20,000 to learn this stuff. All right. Who's responsible? This is the question I'm going to ask you guys. Who's responsible to receive success, to live a life of freedom and on your own schedule, to overcome obstacles, to create a path for yourself, to make change? And who's responsible for everything and anything? It's you. It's me. It's us. All right. And the moment we decide that we're responsible for what we have today is the moment that we could change anything. Right? Because we have power. The moment we decide, I'm responsible for this, anything and everything in life, I'm responsible, now you've got power to change it. If you're living in effect and saying, this person did this to me back then, therefore I can't do this, you've given away your power. You'll never succeed with that attitude. All right? So let's change the tracks. I'll show you guys how to be a conductor, and I'll give you some really good, first and foremost, knowing and living at cause and deciding consciously to live at cause actually has subconscious ramifications you guys don't even know about that I haven't told you because I don't have time. You've already changed some of your meta programs in the back end by deciding to live at cause. There's going to be shifts. If you continue to think this way, there's going to be shifts, changes, and that deck of cards that you call your life is going to be reshuffled if you continue to believe that. That's simple. I've already given you the biggest tidbit. Here's how it works. There's 2 layers. The conscious mind is the tip of the iceberg. And I explained to you guys why. You've seen these graphics on the internet. Now you can explain it. Why is it just the tip of the iceberg? Because it's only 0.004%. The rest of it is down below. All right? That's where your subconscious mind lies. How many of you have done work on your subconscious mind? Be 100% honest with me. If you don't know you've done subconscious work, you probably haven't. Okay, that's great. Amazing. I thank you guys for your honesty. You're going to take a lot out of this. Did you guys know there's ways? So ethically, I've signed a code of conduct. Ethically, I'm not allowed to change your top 3 values. So in lesson 3 of this course, no, lesson 2 next week, we're going to do something called values elicitation. I'm going to walk you guys through an exercise that's going to list out your values. It's very crazy how it works. They're going to just get spit out, and you're not even going to be consciously in control of the process. It's going to get kind of interesting. You'll have your values. It's called values elicitation. I could change any value from 4 down to 10. I'm not allowed to change the top 3. All right? That's how powerful this stuff is. When you change a value, your whole life shuffles, and I'll tell you why it's so important. Okay? So most of the work that runs your body is done at the subconscious level. Your conscious decisions are powerful, but nowhere near as important as what your subconscious mind does. In a situation of fight or flight, your conscious mind shuts down, your subconscious mind kicks in. That's how important it is. Neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, works with the iceberg level down. It's all subconscious stuff. In fact, neuro-linguistic programming means mind linguistics and how to program. That's all it is. Mind language, how to speak to your mind, how to develop a relationship with yourself, how to communicate with the back with a 99.994%. All right? How to hear and how to speak to it. All right? This is amazing. If you guys just take a screenshot of this, this is Earl Nightingale, whatever we plant into our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become a reality. You guys want to know the formula? Think positive thoughts and put as much emotion as possible into them, and they'll become real in a scary way. I got many examples from my own life to share with you. If you have negative thoughts, doubts, and fears, and you're nourishing them with emotion, that is the surest way to prevent yourself from living your dream life. Consciously, I'll give you guys a quote. The mind, life is images of the mind transformed to reality. That's it. So if you're thinking negative thoughts in your head, but rationally you want to be successful, think about the disconnect. 0.004% of you says, I want to be successful. 99.994% of you is programmed to not be successful. Which one's going to win? In an arm wrestle. Your brain does not know how to interpret negatives. All it knows is how to take direction. Thinking negative thoughts provides direction for your brain to create a negative reality. If you don't know that, now you do. Believe it. It becomes real. All right? I'll tell you guys why NLP is so powerful for this. Anchoring is one way, Mark. The anchoring is one strategy when used in the right state and for the right things. What do most people do that want to lose weight? I'm going to surround myself with all this information. I'm going to learn how to diet, how to pack my lunch and all that stuff. Then I'm going to change my behavior. I'm going to start going to the gym, and I'm going to go every day, and I'm going to set my alarm clock. How long does it last? This is why it takes 21 days to change a behavior. It's because we're doing it the wrong way. You don't change the behavior. What's higher than a behavior? Potential. All right, what is your potential? What could you achieve? What could you accomplish? What are you going for? Then above that is beliefs. What do you believe? All right? If you're going to the gym every day and you've changed your behavior, but you believe you're a fat slob, you're never going to lose weight because your belief overrides your behaviors, and eventually it's going to steer you back on course. My car's got autonomous drive mode, so when I put it on autonomous drive, I'm able to swerve with my steering wheel to avoid something, but then it takes over and pushes it back into course to stay between the lanes. That's what it'll do. Beliefs override potential behavior in your environment. All right, now you have values. Now you're getting deeper. All right, your values will change what you believe. Remember, now you're getting really, really deep into it. This is subconscious level. Everything above behavior is a subconscious level tool. So we have consciously behavior and environment to work with, but these are overridden so quickly by the subconscious level iceberg. So it's kind of like the iceberg flipped. All right? If we have a belief, it'll change every single thing on the downside. If you change your value, if you suddenly value freedom, if you value satisfaction of life, and you change your value from security, your beliefs changes. You start to believe that taking risk is a great thing. You start to believe that Taking no risk is the riskiest behavior ever. All right? You're starting to believe that you deserve this stuff. If you value safety, it's going to create an environment in which you're going to be safe, which unfortunately is the 9-to-5 workplace, which is a behavior of conforming to standards, is a behavior of working to somebody else. Because that's what you value. When were your values created? 0 to 7. That's your imprint period. If you have parents who value safety and you've never took yourself off the track of moving towards safety on your subconscious level, 99.994% of you is still working to realize your parents' values that you never even accepted. Do you guys see how this is crazy? So what do? You change a value. How do I change a value? Like that, I could change it for you. Just like that. All right? There's strategies for it. This is what neuro-linguistic programming stuff is. I'm telling you, criminal that this stuff's not available for people. And above all else is identity. All right? Your identity is what drills down everything. Your identity has the ability to change values, which has the ability to change your beliefs. When you change your identity, who you are, all right, you got to be careful doing this. This comes with the code of ethics that I've signed off on. I'm not able to change. I have to do every single thing else in my power before I could even attempt to change identity, and I'm very cautious when I do stuff like that. All right, your identity will shift everything. It's kind of like a deck of cards. Imagine your life being a deck of cards that's shuffled. Imagine putting the cards back in and reshuffling the deck. You don't know how it's going to pan out, but you know your identity is going to change. That comes with the positive and negative. So we got to do a mind map before we shift identity. Very powerful stuff. All right, that's how life is. You're driving towards values that you may not even have accepted consciously. You might have subconsciously accepted them because you were told them. You can't be successful with somebody else's values. You can't live your dream with somebody else's values. It won't happen. All right? Trickle down effect. Let's play a fun game. I want to kind of break this up. We're kind of on pace for about a 9:05, 9:10 finish. I hope you guys don't mind a little bit of extra time. Does anyone mind? I mean, you could leave at any point. This is recorded, or elite members have access to it. All right, you guys want to play a game? Okay, I need you guys to all do this. Close your eyes. All right, don't worry, but just close your eyes, back up a little bit so you don't hit the monitor. Stick your hands out, shoulder width apart and shoulder height. Stick your hands out in front of you and close your eyes. All right? Now, have you guys done this? If I see a yes, you guys are all in trouble. All right. Obviously, you've done it because you're listening. Okay, do this. All right. Stick both hands. Shake them a little bit. Just kind of like let loose. Shake both hands. Take a deep breath and breathe out and just relax. All right. Both hands in front of you. I want you to turn one palm upward. You choose. It's up to you. Turn one palm upward to face the ceiling, one face down. All right. On this palm, I want you to visualize me placing a textbook. Remember that textbook you had in school? That really thick one that they told you you're going to get through the semester? You're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do it? All right, I'm going to put that on your hand right now. All right, just hold it for me for a second. You guys ever been in a law library? You know that huge law, like massive law textbooks or like an encyclopedia? I'm going to put that on top of your textbook. All right, get ready. Just put it on your arm. Just hold that for me for a second. Just 1 second. Just hold it there. I know it's heavy, but just hold it. On your other arm, all right, I want you to imagine your last birthday where you had balloons. Maybe you were young. Maybe you weren't. Maybe it was last week. Maybe you're adventurous and your friends get you balloons still. I want you to tie those balloons to your wrist. They're full of helium. There's about 30 of them. So they're pretty light. All right, they're full of helium. They're just free and floating. And they're looking towards the sky. And they just want to lift off. All right, stop. Don't move. Open your eyes. How many people's hands were actually further apart? Let me ask you this. Whose weren't further apart? Okay, but even still, let's say your left hand down, right hand up. Even if you kind of bring them together, are they higher or lower? Well, you opened your eyes, David. Okay. here's the situation. For those of you whose hands separated, you're more suggestible, which means you're more in contact with your subconscious mind. For those of you whose hands are the same, either I didn't do enough description to actually make you feel it, or you were fighting it knowing what the outcome was going to be, which means you're more connected to your conscious mind, and you value maybe control more. You value being in control for whatever. Something might have happened in your life. I don't know. I'm not judging. It's not a right or wrong test, but maybe you have a little bit of a more challenging relationship with control. All right? And maybe it doesn't mean anything. Maybe it's just a silly game. All right? But here's the situation. Here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part, is that through language, I got you to have a change in your physiology. Somebody who says, your words can't create reality. Didn't we just do that? What do we just do? What we thought about and what I talked about, I spoke existence. Nuts, eh? Think about that. That's what hypnosis is, by the way. You're allowing yourself to follow suggestions. You're allowing yourself to communicate with your subconscious mind. Under hypnosis, if somebody gives you a negative instruction or suggestion, you snap out of it. I'll show you why in a moment. You cannot be hypnotized to do anything negative. You can be brainwashed. That's different. To be brainwashed, the difference between brainwashing and hypnosis, brainwashing means you're removed from your environment. They control your food intake. They control your sleep patterns. They administer pain when you're wrong, and they give you pleasure when you're right. A little bit like the military. Point I'm making here is it's wild, isn't it? That's pretty cool. Let's talk about the prime directives of the unconscious mind. I want you guys to know what it is in the back, that 99.994% that you may never have met. I want you to know how it works. Here's what it does. All right? And then I'll tell you why it's important to have positive language with yourself. Number one thing that the unconscious or subconscious, they're interchangeable, mind wants you to do is to preserve the body. If ever something harms your body or safety, all else shuts down. Do you guys agree? Have you experienced that? Let me give you an example in trading. All right? You're somebody who values safety as a person. I don't want you guys to say me or not. You've been brought up to understand that safety, stability, and having a stable job, paying the bills, and making sure your family's safe is the absolute most important thing. All right? And if you don't do that, it's going to cause you physical, mental stress, losing sleep. Losing sleep is degrading to your nervous system. All right? And you go into a trade and you lose money and you bring out fear. And you say, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to feed my family? What does your subconscious mind think? No, can't do that. Autocorrect on your steering. Like I told you, my car has got the autonomous mode. So you get out the lane, it steers you right back. Remember the train tracks. You're getting off the tracks. A train could shake a little bit left and right on the tracks as it goes down the tracks. All it is, a little lean to the left, boom, right back on track. What does right back on track mean? Exiting that negative mindset. What does that mean? Closing the trade at a loss and moving on. All right? If you don't change your value and just try to change the behavior, you're going to drive yourself mental. You're going to continue to try to get off of a track and you can't. That is because your unconscious mind believes something else than what you're trying to accomplish. Simple as that. It's not what you're trading. It's not your strategy. It's not how you're trading. It's what you believe and what you value. All right? It runs the body. Your unconscious mind runs the body. So these are in order of most importance. It stores all memories. 100% of what you've seen and saw and see right now will be stored. It's the ultimate hard drive. It organizes all your memories. Your subconscious mind doesn't think in a timeline. It doesn't know yesterday, the past. It stores all memories at once. They're accessed in a timeline fashion if you would like, but they don't have to be that way. It's pretty cool. There's exercises that are mind-blowing for this. They repress memories and resolve They repress memories with unresolved negative emotions. If you've had a negative traumatic event in your past, it's going to repress those memories purposely to prevent you from thinking about them. Very sad stuff. In situations where there's child abuse, and the kid can't fend for himself because he's young, what he'll do is he'll create an alter ego. He'll split his identity in half to have a larger, stronger male, like 30, 50 plus, to feel like he's not defenseless, so he can preserve the body. And it's that powerful. Like, we're not talking about Mickey Mouse stuff here about trading. This goes really deep. All right. Your unconscious mind is symbolic. It thinks in symbols. All right. When the number one thing, what do we do when we're upset? We go and hug our wife, right? Or our wife is upset, our husband's upset, we hug them, right? Stop doing that right now, because you're creating an association of negativity to a hug. Now, the next time you hug them, they're going to feel negative. I'm going to give you an example. Smile right now. Try to think of something negative as you smile, but just really put effort into the smile. Try to think of anything negative that's happened to you and smile. When you experience something fun, you smile. When you smile, you remove all negative emotion. It's physically impossible for you. There's something about a smile that you can't think negative. It just blocks it out. All right? Your unconscious mind works on the principle of least effort. The quickest path is unfortunately the one it likes with the least amount of work. All right? It's got 99.994% of the workload. It wants to get it done with as quick as possible to move to the next one. It does not process negatives. Remember, 0 to 7, you're just an unconscious mind. So if I tell a 7-year-old, don't jump in the puddle, what are they doing? Jumping in the puddle. Let me give you guys this one because you're not 7. Don't think of a blue tree. Don't think of a blue tree. Don't think of a blue tree. You're thinking of a blue tree. The mind is too busy to process negatives. It likes instructions. When you give it can'ts, won'ts, don'ts, it becomes confusing. It strips the negative terminology out and takes that as instruction. All right? Don't jump in a puddle. Don't. What do you want me to do? I don't know what you want me to do. I'm going to do what you told me not to. Jump in a puddle. Strips the negative. Very careful what you say to yourself. The unconscious mind's listening 100% of the time, even when you're sleeping. In fact, your unconscious mind shows higher degree of activity in your sleep than in your waking state. Your unconscious mind takes everything personal. What that means is, if I ever look at somebody and say, that person is wealthy and he's an idiot. Mark shared a story with me. Mark, can I share this with people very quickly? I got to pick it up a little bit. Mark said he was on vacation. Tell me if I can't, because then I'll stop. He said he was on vacation, and some guy came up to him. He was in Antigua, and he was looking at a guy on a boat in his yacht enjoying it in the water, and some guy comes up to him and says, look at that idiot, or look at that jerk, or whatever he is. He didn't know him. Mark, you know what he said you know what that guy actually said? He said, look at me, I'm a jerk. He said, rich a-hole. He's like, look at that rich a-hole. He created a negative feeling of money. He kind of expressed himself. If you look at somebody, say, that person's overweight. Let's say the F word. That person's fat. If you're negative like that, you're calling yourself fat. Your mind does not know projection outside. It's perception inside. There's no opinion that you can have of anyone else. Every opinion that you have is of yourself. All right. When I learned that changed my relationship with people. When they're like, oh, you can't do this, you're doing this, but when they became negative, I'm like, why are they saying that about themselves? How can I help them? Enjoys serving. It needs clear orders to follow the unconscious mind. You need to give it clear orders. That's why it doesn't process negatives. It maintains instinct and generates habits. Why? Habits allow you to process info faster. All right. They generate or generalize, delete, and distort. Needs repetition until a habit's installed, and is programmed to seek more and more. As a human, you're programmed over thousands of years to want more for yourself. Quit feeling like you're being greedy or selfish, that you want to be successful, you want fast cars, whatever you want, money, the bank, whatever you want. Quit feeling like it's wrong to do that. You deserve it. Thousands of years have programmed you to want it. A couple decades of society is not going to stop you from it. Just embrace it. Just go out there and get it. There's enough for everyone to be abundant. All right, here's 5 steps of learning how to trade. Unconscious incompetence. This means not knowing what you don't know. All right. And then you move on to your conscious incompetence, knowing what you don't know. Now you're like, holy crap, now I know there's a lot of stuff I don't know. And then you move to conscious competence where you're saying, I know what I know. And then you hit unconscious competence. You don't know how much you know to the outside world. And then you hit another level. You're conscious. You know how much you don't know about how much you know. All right. Most traders fail in the first two steps. Here's how the cycle goes. Oh my God, I don't know what I don't know. It's time to research. Excitement. I found a strategy. Amazing. Oh, this strategy works. Now you find out that this strategy has something else. You're like, well, now you're back down to unconscious. I don't know anything about that. Then you jump to conscious competence. Now I know how much I don't know. Now you find something else you don't know, and you spin your way until you just blow out all your money. And at the end of the day, you don't even know why you lost it because you're still incompetent at that point, right? This is the commit or quit phase. Most traders quit before they even give themselves a chance to be profitable. 5 out of 100 traders are successful because the other 95 blew their opportunity by not doing the right thing. All right, and your mastery level hits unconscious competence and above. All right, for some reason, people think they could just open the door and walk into here in my industry, in our industry. I don't know why. I always ask people, what do you do? I'm a dentist. All right, a kid out of school sits at the chair, says, give me the drill, sit down, let me show you how it's done. What do you say to that person? Calm down. Let me just show you a little bit here. Just take it one step at a time. For some reason in trading, I don't know why, people think they can open the door and unconscious competence. They'll walk in and there'll be like a shower of money falling on them. And yeah, it doesn't work like that. You got to have an entry-level job to start this thing. All right. Awareness is what it takes for you to become conscious of what you don't know. All right. And then at this point, you could start doing, but you have to think about it. You're like, okay, I know what I got to do. This is where traders get frustrated. I know what I got to do, but I'm frustrated because like I don't remember the checklist. I haven't memorized it. I got to think about this. And now that you think, thinking equates to you not knowing what's going on. Interesting. So now there's doubt. What does doubt bring in? Fear. Now there's a whole self-sabotage and you get spit out of that process. So embrace this. Yeah, you could do, but you have to think. Great, you're learning. All right. If you don't know something, congratulations. I applaud that. You're learning. Right? And then the mastery is you just do it, no thinking. And at some point, I mean, all that takes is practice. You got to keep practicing. If you could do, but you have to think, you're on your way. And then good teachers are conscious of their unconscious competence. I'm there. All right. I know that I know so much. I know that I don't know how much I know. Okay. I get to see that every day when I interact with people. I'll be like, just do this. I'm like, wait a minute. What is this? I'm like, oh, sorry. I got to take a step back. All right. I've been doing this all my life, 15 plus years. All right. So you want to be your own boss? Let's bring it a little bit more logical. You got to start a business like trading. Trading's a business. A lot of you guys actually run businesses. It's unique and that it attracts business owners, and this is why I'm sharing this with you. Trading is not like a business. It is one. All right? If you want to start a business, how do you do it? You get a business idea. Then you create a business plan. How do you plan to get in? How do you plan to get part of the market share? How will you market? What will your revenue be like? How will you save? How will you staff? Blah, 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 blah. All right? And then you do a feasibility study. Is it feasible? Can this business really work before I put my own money and investment in? Is it a feasible business? Whoever skips that step usually has a hard time. Their feasibility plan is when they launch after investing thousands, potentially even hundreds of thousands. All right. Then they open the office or the online store, whatever it is. They start small. Starting small means you get to learn while it's cheap. All right. And once run a business is saying, holy crap, that's so true. Starting small is how you get to learn cheap. You want to start big when you haven't earned the right to be big. Lessons are going to cost more. All right. And then what do? You adjust your strategy, profit, and you go step 6 to 7. Adjust strategy, profit, adjust strategy, profit. All right. Trading is the same thing. You say, I'm going to trade. Somebody tells you, you see an Instagram post of some guy in his Mercedes S63 AMG telling you could do this. Then what do? You create a trading plan. All right. You get into practicing. This is feasibility. Is this feasible? Do I have what it takes to be a trader? This is what traders don't understand. When they get the answer no, they'll start demo trading and they'll keep messing up, or live trading and messing up. And they say, I'm not good at this. What you really should be saying is, I need to learn something else. It's not that you're not good at it forever. You're just not good at what you're doing right now. You just need to change your track. You could do it. You just have to decide you want to. All right. Then what do? You set up your trading station, whatever. You get your computer, fund your account, start small, adjust strategy and profit. Same as business. I don't know what it is about trading that people think they could just show up at step 7. Show me a business where people could just show up at step 7. Show me anyone. And any person who expects to start at step 7 can't have that same expectation for somebody starting in their business, right? Doesn't work like that. So you need to be the boss and the worker. I'm going to give you guys a really cool exercise and then finish off within 5 to 8 minutes here. There needs to be 2 of you. How do I say this? I'm a Gemini. There's 2 of me already. There needs to be a boss you and a worker you. So split yourself in half right now. This is going to be very cheesy, guys, but split yourself in half and call one side of you the boss, one side of you the worker. Give it a name. Make it real. Remember, the subconscious mind is symbolic. All right? Come up with a name for yourself, the boss you. Come up with a name for the employee you. The boss you is going to be the visionary, the dreamer. It's going to wake up excited to trade, wants to accomplish freedom. It's going to be responsible and accountable. He's sort of the logical one saying, oh, yeah, let's do this. Risk management is the most important, says Trade Pro Academy. And then create and revise your trading plan until you're happy with it as the boss. Because who's responsible? The boss. So take that responsibility and put it upon yourself to create a plan you're happy with. Do your analysis with excellence. All right, focus. We have trading checklists. Every trade that you do, if you follow the checklist, you give yourself a much better chance coming from a guy who's done it for 15 years. All right, and then you delegate tasks. All right, and you motivate your worker. Now you call the worker personality of you. He's got simple tasks. Be disciplined, diligent, and patient. Be loyal and reliable. All right, and execute the tasks that you're given. Let me ask you guys this right now. Please answer. I won't use your name. If you're not having success trading at the moment, or if you're still working towards being successful, let's keep it positive. Who do you have to fire, the worker or the boss? In your situation, having said what I just said. The worker, so the boss is good, the worker is just not being loyal. Some people said the boss. You know what? That's fine. That's amazing. There's no right answer. It's just right in the time of your life that you're experiencing it. There's no right answer. I'll tell you that both get them all out of here. Just clean up shop, restructure. I'm a Maple Leafs fan. I know how that goes. We're rebuilding this year. You got to fire the boss or the worker. Here's how it works. I'll give you guys an exercise. A lot of you are still around, and I'm thankful for it. I'm going to close my story too. I told you the best advice I've been given by somebody in the corporate world that made me quit that very same. It wasn't the same day. I can't lie and tell you that, but it was within 2 to 3 weeks. I made up my mind after that conversation to be out. It's the boss or the worker. Here's the exercise, and I want you guys to take this in. Print your trading checklist or your trading plan. If you're a Trade Pro member, you have checklists prepared for you. So hallelujah. Print your trading checklist, put it in front of you, go on a demo account, and read that checklist to qualify your trade. All right. Step number 1, do I have divergence, for example? Yes. Step number 2, do I have volume? Yes. Read through all your checklists of must-haves before you execute a trade. If you want to split your checklist, you should have it into 3. Must-have, nice to have, mission critical, nice to have, and at some point it'd be really nice to have. So if you have the mission critical stuff, check, you have confidence, you have a trade. Verbally read out and say qualified, trade qualified. You're now telling the boss you're done. You're out of here. Time to pass the thing to the worker. You get the sheet physically. You could have a sheet. You could literally move it from one side of the table from the boss to the worker. This sounds crazy, but it works. On the left side of your table, you can be the boss. Say check, done. Move the ticket to the right side. Now you're the worker. Stop thinking. Your job is not to think as the worker. All right? You want to think, you be the boss. You put your time in and become the boss if you want to think. You got to be disciplined, diligent, patient, loyal, and execute the task. Stop thinking. All right? Get in there and get your trade in ASAP. All right. Put the trade in, let it run out if you're using OCO orders, which you all should be, or cancel the trade and repeat the process. All right. Now what you're creating is a separation between the two. All your thinking's done at the boss level, all your critical decisions. Once the decision's made, that's it. You're done. No more thinking. Boom. Let's go. I watched a warm-up in Maple Leafs. Mikhail Grabowski at the time, he was a forward, was getting one-time feeds across the ice from the blue, just blasting them top shelf. That same game, I was watching that on the platinum seats in practice. That same game, same spot, same pass, same shot, hit the post and went out. Didn't go in as a goal. However, it looked different. It was just execution. He wasn't thinking. That wasn't practice. That's game time, baby. All right, practice this. I'm telling you, you're going to create two separate roles. Because at the end of every day, I ask myself, who messed up today? The employee or the boss? Who do I need to work with? All right. And that's it. That's kind of the process. I'm going to wrap up soon. The comfort zone. I'm going to tell you guys this very quickly. Quality of life goes up here. Time passes here. Here's how most people have their life go. Really good and really bad down here. They'll kind of be happy and okay and nonchalant until something really bad happens. And then they make adjustments because they have to get back into this little shaded area. Then something really good happens. Like, oh, this can't last forever. I got to enjoy this moment. And we get back down to the comfort zone. All right. What happened here in each one of these? You took action of some sort, be it good or bad. Self-sabotage on the really good moments, change on the bad moments. All right, I'm going to tell you this. You don't have to live in this gray zone, the comfort zone. This is where life has created opportunity for you because this is where employees are great. How fun is it to motivate by lifting somebody out of the comfort zone with a raise? Oh, great. Wow, temporary euphoria. Now they're back at the comfort zone. They're going to work for you. They already spent that bonus you gave them. All right. In the comfort zone, nothing good comes out of it. Think about yourself as 1,000 years ago. You had a spear or a bow, and there's a big bear. You think you had comfort 1,000 years ago? I don't think so. Why do you think that you deserve it now? Why do you think after thousands of years of conditioning your brain to be out of the comfort zone, it's suddenly going to make you happy to be in the comfort zone? Make sense? You're a hunter. You deserve to hunt. You're not the gazelle, you're the lion. You guys have to know that. And if you don't believe that, then maybe you are the gazelle. All right? You can be on a really good situation all the time. You have to accept responsibility for living a cause. That's all it comes down to. Out of lesson 1, this is all I wanted you to take away. We're getting close to the tail end here, and I'll finish my story. Ask yourself in every part of your life, how am I responsible for this? Relationships, career, personal health, personal development. How am I responsible for what I have? Now you can make changes. Stop blaming others. Stop living at effect of what's happening to you and live at cause. Changes right around the corner. Amazing, David. I love to hear that. And I knew it would kind of affect you in a positive way. So I'm happy you said that, Nick. Chasing dreams since 1985. No problem, Richie. I want to wrap it up. This is the most important part. This was me getting a new car. All right. This is a car that is worth a mortgage to some people. And I don't use it as an example to brag about it. I'm using it to show you something that nobody ever thought I could get. All right. And I could get another one if I wanted. The point is, this is the life that everybody had for me. All right. And I decided this life sucks. I hated that life with a passion. If you don't hate it, there's nothing wrong with it. But I valued inside my head, I was taught to value safety, but my brain, the dreamed bigger than that. So I had to take down that barrier. So what I'm telling you is, with Trade Pro Elite, if you guys sign up, you're taking action, you're living at cause, you get the next 6 lessons of the Trading Psychology course every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you sign up today, I'll give you 15% off your first month. Current members, I'll find a way to make it up to you. It's 15 Elite. That's the code that you use. Donna's standing by tonight, a little bit extra before midnight. There's only 20 spots. And then when they fill up, they're gone. Coupons 15 Elite. We're starting again Tuesday. If you sign up now, you get to be part of the trading room tomorrow morning. You get a chance to read all the futures, swing trading education, and be prepared for the next lesson. But then we're going to join back up next Tuesday at 8 p.m. to do lesson 2, and we're going to start moving with some exercises. I've recorded some hypnosis things for you guys, audios that will change the way you look at the market and will change your values as well. I've recorded some of the timeline therapy stuff that we're not supposed to give away for free. I've included that in there. I'm following the template of a $10,000 course. I'm going to give you guys that value over the next 6 weeks. All right, for a subscription price. Here's the words that changed my life, and we're done. All right. Yeah, Richie, I can. Let me go to TradeProAcademy.com. That's a good question. You can go TradeProAcademy.com/pricing, but I'll send you guys the link. You shouldn't have to go anywhere. I'll send it to all of you. Let me go in here. Send to all. And Donna's sitting on the live chat if you guys have questions. Here's what he told me, all right? And I'll never forget these words. He said, look, I had the same ambition as you when I was younger. I didn't do it, all right? It scares me to death to think about doing it. But I've always wondered what it would be like. And he told me this, I challenge you in life. This is a guy who is much older than me, who's kind of thinks, believes, convinced himself that there's no other option for him than to live this life that he's not happy with in the name of safety. And he told me this, said, I challenge you to look at life like this. Stop running from what you don't want and run towards what you do. It's like the life becomes a lot easier. He told me that running away from things takes a lot more energy to upkeep. It's a lot more fearful. You're always looking over your shoulder. Whereas running towards it, you never lose sight of what you actually want. It's always in front of you. You're moving towards it. All right? Those words have had a profound shift in the way that I looked at life, and I've accomplished a lot since then. And I'm not done. All right? Absolute favorite advice. And looking at it from a dude who is sort of at a much later stage of life, who feels like he's tapped out, part of me felt sorry for him, but it only lasted about a split second because I realized feeling sorry for him means I'm feeling sorry for myself. Remember, any emotions you put towards somebody else are a reflection of what you feel about yourself. All right? So I got on the start line and I just made a run for it and I haven't turned back. I remember the first year I left my corporate job, I made my salary in 2.5 months. Well, not true. The first 2.5 months I had a really rough time. And then I overcame it. And then that 2.5 months after that, I made back everything and killed it. Within the middle of the year, after tax, I'd made my income already. So to me, it was an easy decision. We could do it together. Next week, we're going to look at your values, where you got them from. We're going to do a values elicitation exercise. You guys are going to come with by the way, bring a notepad and pen. It's going to be super useful for you guys. You're going to keep that for the rest of your life. So make it a nice one. We're going to do a values elicitation. You're going to have the top 10 values of yours, and you're going to not even think about it. When you think about what do you value, if you sit here and consciously think about it, you don't know. When I talk to your subconscious mind, boom, the 10 will come out. You won't be able to write fast enough when you follow the process. Okay, so we're going to elicit your values, and we're going to test your subconscious beliefs. What do you believe? All right, how is that helping you? How is it preventing you from reaching what you want? And because we're going to be doing it as a group, I'll be giving you guys a number of different ways you could head down the path to correct that. You could change your values. I'll be showing you how to change a value. For goodness sake, just don't change your top 3 and your beliefs. And we're going to get into some powerful techniques. So this is where Tony Robbins stops. Your parents have conditioned you to do this. Hallelujah. Let's walk on charcoal and fiery stones. But so what? Then what? You go home and you have no tools. I'm going to give you the tools to change your subconscious mind. Somebody said, how do you talk to your subconscious mind? Neuro-linguistic programming means speech to mind programming. So exactly with these techniques, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how to develop self-awareness, the Hawaiian trick, and another one. I trade from this state at all times, the self-awareness state. It's an eye trick and expanded awareness. It's very simple to follow. This is what you call flow. A lot of athletes know this secret. The reason being, it stops all worry and emotion and makes you have extreme concentration. It comes from the hunting days, way back in the day when you were a hunter and being hunted. You had to have self-awareness and expanding consciousness. I always trade from this state. In fact, some people who trade in the office with me are like, what are you doing when you do this? And I told them, let me teach you an exercise. And it's changed them for the better as well. That's next week. I'll introduce you to the trading sabotage cycle and when to identify it and how to get yourself out. This thing's vicious, man. The trading sabotage cycle chews up and spits out 95% of people that try trading. And the crappy part is they get spit out before they've even had a chance to be successful. And the person who stopped them from it is themselves. Somebody that has blocked themselves from success is somebody who's still blaming somebody else. That's the test. If you ever see somebody in life who says, son, I had a chance to do this, but then this guy came by and did this. That's somebody who's thinking at a 7. They're not thinking past a 7-year-old level, right? They haven't even allowed themselves to subconsciously look for an answer. Anywho, that's what we're going to teach you. I got a hypnosis and exercise to shift your thinking for next week. The door is open. The grass is greener on the other side. Although this doesn't really look too green. We got to throw some grass growing stuff on there. All right. Did you guys like the introduction? Did you get some tidbits out of it? The biggest things I would say is shift to being a cause at all times in your life. I'll show you quantum proof next week as to why what you think dictates your future and reality. That's mind-blowing stuff. 2.3 million bits of data come in. You only process a small amount at the conscious level. Therefore, change is not possible on conscious level for the long term. It's only possible at a subconscious level. Awesome. All right, guys, get in there. Coupon 15 Elite, and then we carry on next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, every Tuesday until June 12th. That's the last webinar for this Trading Psychology Mastery course. To my Trade Pro family, to the Elite team, thank you so much for being with me and being patient as I created this. The course is ready, and I can't wait to deliver it to you. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the trading room. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you, Vlad. I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to hit stop record and answer some questions because this will be part of the curriculum online.